From the very beginning, the little boy was struggling to hold it in, his legs involuntarily twitching back and forth. He bit down hard on his pencil, trying to make it to the end of class, but he couldn't hold back in the end. The outburst drew laughter from the entire class, turning all eyes on him. Even the teacher thought he was causing trouble on purpose and in frustration called him to the front and scolded him harshly. The boy tried to explain that he couldn't control the strange noises he was making, but the teacher didn't buy it and forced him to apologize to the whole class.
I'm sorry. That you can't study because of me.
Then, the teacher demanded a promise that such sounds would never be made in class again. With no other choice, the boy reluctantly agreed.
Promise I won't make any more silly noises ever again.
However, just as he returned to his seat, nobody knew. The boy had a rare condition, which prompted the teacher to immediately call his parents. For the boy, this kind of situation was all too familiar. Ever since he started school, he had endured bullying and discrimination from his classmates, treated like a monster by everyone. This time, despite his mother's apologies, the school decided to expel him, as this wasn't the first incident. Although his mother knew it wasn't his fault, faced with the principal's mockery, she resolutely took him home. Determined to diagnose her son Bobo's condition, his mother consulted countless doctors and pored over numerous books. Finally, her efforts paid off when she discovered in a book that Bobo had Tourette syndrome, caused by the brain sending incorrect signals leading to his involuntary actions. But in that era, there was no cure for this rare condition worldwide. Upon hearing this, his mother broke down in tears, overwhelmed by despair. Bobo rushed to comfort her.
It's okay, Mom. We'll get through this, alright?
His understanding brought genuine comfort to his mother. Soon after, she sought a new treatment approach for Bobo and found a Tourette syndrome support group. The members had a wide range of symptoms, some even struggling to take care of themselves. Oddly enough, they all shared a common grievance about societal injustice. Dismayed by this negative attitude, his mother decided Bobo could not undergo treatment there. Bobo agreed wholeheartedly and firmly reassured his mother.
These people let Tourette's win.
It's hard to imagine that a child of only 12 could speak such words. His mother was immensely comforted by his maturity, and the worry that had been weighing on her heart finally eased. Not long after, Bobo moved to another school, but the harsh reality remained unchanged. His classmates still treated him like a monster, laughing and pointing fingers at him. One day, the principal called Bobo for a talk. Expecting criticism, Bobo was surprised when the meeting took an unexpected turn. Instead of reprimanding him, the principal invited him to a concert. Little did Bobo know, this man was about to change his life forever. At the concert, Bobo tried his best not to make any noises, but it was futile. The teachers and students cast strange looks his way, and some even nudged him with their elbows. It wasn't until the concert ended that Bobo could finally breathe a sigh of relief. But to his surprise, the principal called him onto the stage. Bobo thought he was being asked to apologize, but the principal had a different purpose in mind.
You like making noises and upsetting people, Brad?
No, sir.
Then why do you do it?
What? Because I have Tourette's syndrome.
In front of everyone, Bobo explained that his condition was due to a brain anomaly that made him produce these noises involuntarily, and that there was no cure available. He admitted that not only did others dislike the noise, but he himself was also deeply frustrated by it. After he finished, there was a moment of silence. The principal then spoke up.
What can we do to help you, Brad?
I just want to be treated like everybody else.
This was the reason the principal had brought him to the stage. As Bobo stepped down, the entire assembly of teachers and students stood and gave him a round of applause. The principal's words opened a window to a new world for Bobo, marking the first time he felt understood and accepted by others. Grateful, Bobo looked at the principal, and from that moment he resolved to become a good teacher for the people. Years later, with his college diploma in hand, Bobo attended various job interviews. However, as soon as the interviewers heard his noises, they either frowned or made sarcastic remarks. Wherever he went, he faced strange looks and discrimination. On good days, he received polite rejections from interviewers. On bad days, he encountered aggressive individuals who attacked him for his condition, telling him he wasn't fit to be a teacher and should just go home and tend to cows. Bobo couldn't take it anymore and ended up arguing fiercely with them before storming out. Back in his car, despair and frustration overwhelmed him. He pounded on the steering wheel, venting his long-suppressed anger. At that moment, Bobo began to question the fairness of the world, eventually breaking down in tears. Despite the constant rejections, nothing could stop his dream of becoming a teacher. Once he calmed down, he marked every school on the map and started visiting each one for interviews. As the marks on the map dwindled, so did Bobo's hope. The phone call that came through was a beacon of hope for Bobo. The caller was a principal from a small school, inviting Bobo for an interview. They had a long conversation, and the principal was not concerned about Bobo's condition. He cared only about whether Bobo could impart genuine knowledge to the children. After several hours of discussion, the principal decided to give Bobo a chance for 1 year. If Bobo performed exceptionally well during this time, they would sign a formal contract with him. Of course, if any problems arose, they were prepared to let him go decisively. Faced with this rare opportunity, Bobo had no reason to refuse. He prepared thoroughly, from setting up the classroom to selecting various learning materials meticulously. With everything in place, Bobo excitedly stood at the classroom door to welcome the children. His first lesson was about his condition. As expected, the children had a myriad of questions, with a few mischievous ones asking particularly sharp and harsh questions. However, Bobo wasn't upset. He generously explained each question, successfully completing his first lesson. After school, Bobo saw a mischievous chubby kid bullying a classmate. He quickly called them over and resolved the conflict with a simple game of rock, paper, scissors. This was the innocence of childhood, fighting over words but reconciling over a game. However, the other teachers warned Bobo that the chubby kid was notoriously troublesome, with poor academic performance and significant attention deficit and hyperactivity disorders. They advised Bobo to talk to the child's parents about transferring him to a special education class. But Bobo didn't see it that way. Having grown up in similar circumstances, he knew that although the children's conditions differed, their essence was the same. He wouldn't give up on the chubby kid or any child. To change the chubby kid's perspective, Bobo planned to use his own experiences. For instance, he disliked reading because his vocal outbursts prevented him from concentrating. He had the chubby kid pretend to have Tourette syndrome and then try reading. But less than a minute in, the kid couldn't continue. At that moment, the child realized the immense challenges Bobo faced. Though reading was hard, it paled in comparison to Bobo's struggles. From then on, the chubby kid started to study diligently, and Bobo successfully turned around a child on the verge of academic failure. Bobo became very close to the children, who adored him, especially a smart and cute little girl who was also the most obedient in class. Every day after school, she would say goodbye to Bobo on her own.
Thank you, Heather. I like your hair.
It's just short because of the medicine.
It was then that Bobo learned the little girl was in the advanced stages of cancer. Yet she wasn't afraid and continued to live each day with joy and sunshine. She confided in Bobo that what she dreaded most was seeing her family cry in secret, not wanting to become a burden to them. Hearing such maturity from a child brought tears to Bobo's eyes. Unfortunately, fate was not kind and the little girl couldn't make it through the summer. At her funeral, Bobo hesitated at the door, fearing his vocal outburst might disturb others. But the girl's mother felt differently. She believed Bobo had brought happiness to her daughter and changed her short life for the better. The girl adored Bobo, and her mother insisted he attend the funeral. As Bobo walked in, tears streamed down his face, yet no one mocked or scorned him for any sounds he made, understanding the joy he had brought to the little girl in her final days. Bobo continued his teaching as usual, dedicating his free time to catch up on postgraduate studies, eventually achieving his master's degree. Perhaps as a nod from fate for his perseverance, Bobo finally met the woman of his dreams, who didn't mind his Tourette's at all and even saw it as a unique gift. They quickly fell in love, and as the year-long probation at the school neared its end, Bobo was named Teacher of the Year. During the award ceremony, Bobo stood confidently on stage, expressing gratitude towards many for their love and support, which sculpted him into the person he was that day. He especially thanked his family and colleagues, whose unwavering support helped him remain strong and optimistic. In a touching moment, Bobo also thanked his constant companion, Tourette syndrome, which in a way had made him who he was. While many might not understand, his students provided the answer.
I mean, what could I possibly learn from a disability? Yes, Galen.
You learn to keep going.
Eli?
You learn not to let it stop you.
Yes, Thomas.
You learn not to let it win.
At that moment, everyone grasped why Bobo felt the need to express his gratitude towards his condition. Thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications so you can watch more videos like this.